The deck is, of course, nice and big, stretching around half the house. I see Carl's long ears twitch at the sound, and he lowers the lighter down into his lap, but doesn't turn around. Hey. He does turn around then, and smiles. Shit, I thought you were Leo or something. Would that have been a bad thing? I look around, then just decide to sit next to him on the swing. He just had pulled me back to the party. I look over at him. He's looking down at his lighter, turning it over in his paws, the hoof portions of his fingers making clacking sounds against the metal. Those things always fascinated me. It seemed like it should make holding things more difficult, but he managed just fine. Are you okay? Carl huffs out a chuckle and leans his head back against the cushioned backing of the seat. That's a great question. Everyone's always asking me. You just seemed really uptight is all. Carl's demeanor is a lot more relaxed now, obviously. As if to emphasize that thought, he takes another hit of his joint and holds his breath for a moment, then lets it out. The pungent smell envelops me. I just don't like being around so many people. You know that. Well, yeah, but you were fine around them these past few days. Carl rubs his forehead hard with the paw holding the joint, using his palm. Yeah, well, things weren't about me then. Just felt a little bit put on the spot. He coughs. That shit just gets me nervous, like, can't we just hang out and not make it about me? I don't say anything, annoyed again that I just can't grasp what he means. I get Carl, I know exactly what he means. Am I making you nervous? Carl finally does look at me then, his massive horn swaying towards me. No, you never do, Chase. I do look away at that point, almost feeling self-conscious at the way he opened up to me. And thanks for trying to get me to talk earlier. Just makes me feel guilty though, the way people try and include me in things, and then I just disappoint them. But you just don't really force me into shit. Everyone feels like I need to do something. Why can't I just decide that for myself? I push against the ground, making the swing sway a little, trying to think of the right thing to say. I mean, it's good to do stuff, right? You can't just sit around doing nothing forever. I guess. It's just that I worry enough about it myself. I don't need other people doing it for me. I lean back in the swing for a bit, looking out over the desert. Man, I'm hungry. Wish I'd brought more cake with me. Not enough incentive to go back in? Not yet. I could go get you some. He smirks at me. You one of those fat fetishists just feeding me garbage so my moobs get bigger? You don't have moobs, I felt them. Yeah, can't keep your paws off me. You have a thing for my fat ass. I look him over, as if studying his finger. Hey. He covers his chest. Well, I do actually like bigger guys, and there's nothing wrong with extra weight, especially if it's carried well. He looks at me expectantly. Which you do? Sweet. You know, you seem like you'd be a pretty dope boyfriend. Just feed me cake all day, then get off on the results. I'm about to shoot back with something snarky when a stumbling figure catches my eye. Out on the sun-baked asphalt of the road, in front of Carl's house, I see a thin figure. A weasel, I think, running up the road. He stops, panting, paws on his knees before he looks over his shoulder again. His whole body slumps then, like the air's gone out of him, like he's given up on something. He turns around to look back up on the road, He's far away, but even from here, I can tell that he's talking. Carl looks over at my silence, then down at the road where I'm looking. Is that Duke? Yeah, that's him. Must be on something. He usually is. Duke finally turns around and starts to cower, his paws up in surrender. His lips are still moving, rapidly, reminding me of someone who's trying to say as much as they can before something cuts them off. What do you think? I trail off as Duke suddenly whips his head around to look up at us, then starts pointing up at our balcony. Oh, let's hope the doors are locked. Gal's chuckling, obviously finding the whole thing hilarious, but I'm a bit more on edge. I don't really feel like he's high. Duke's movements are a lot more focused, more precise, like he's all there. And for some reason it feels like he's looking at me directly. I furrow my brow, watching as the weasel turns toward us, sticking a foot out to take a step. The sound of the sliding glass door wrenching open nearly makes me jump out of my skin. What the hell are you guys doing? Jenna marches around the swing set to stand in front of us, paws on her hips. Whoa, what's up, Jenna? Carol leans back in the swing, elbows over the back, smiling. The fox's eyes narrow as she sees the joint. Did you forget who this party was for? Carl shrugs and rubs his forehead again. Leo, I'm guessing? No, we spent all day yesterday getting this ready for you. Leo especially. Now get back downstairs and have your party. Carl sits quietly for a moment, then glances at me. No, I don't think I will. He's not smiling anymore, his face expressionless, head turned back towards Jenna, but his eyes are wandering off towards the side, looking at the sky. Why not? Because I didn't fucking ask for it. I pretend to look at my phone. What, a party? I'm so sorry, we were trying to be thoughtful, Carl. Maybe we should just forget you next time, huh? Jenna, it's okay, we're just hanging out. She ignores me. I see the skin inside Carlo's ears and around his nose turning red. Since he was a kid, Carlo didn't deal well with conflict. Usually running away the first chance he got. No, this was for Leo. I just don't understand why we couldn't do something that didn't involve. Sorry, Carlo, but that's life. Sometimes you have to come out of your room. Sometimes you have to be the center of attention, and sometimes, God forbid, you have to talk to people. Well, what if I just want to stay up here and hide? Who gives a fuck? The look on Jenna's face is approaching contempt. Are you kidding me? This is difficult for you? Jenna. Again, she ignores me. I might as well be talking to a statue. Or maybe I'm the statue that she isn't paying attention to. I feel like something must have happened downstairs. This isn't like her. You never realize how good you have it, Carl. If you even had a taste of what I went through. I can practically feel the heat radiating off of Carl's body. He looks down at his lap. Are you blaming me for that? His voice breaks. We all have our problems. Some easier than others. Carla glares at her, trying to be angry, but I can tell it's not working. You don't know what kind of shit I have to deal with. Like being rich? No, it's like myself. Oh wow, terrible. How terrible. The one thing you had full control over. No, that's so fucking unfair. The quiver in Carlos' voice doesn't exactly sound convincing, and the pot doesn't seem to be helping as I can see his fingers shaking. Just like life. Carlos' face is bewildered. What the fuck did I do, Jenna? Did I say something wrong earlier? Out of habit, he lifts the joint to his muzzle with his shaking fingers, but then flinches as Jenna steps forward. I guess he thought she was gonna slap him or something, but instead she just reaches forward and plucks the joint out from his grasp, right before flicking it back into his face. It hits his nose and Carl flinches again. Without a word, Jenna spins on her heel and opens the door, even harder than she did the first time. I'm stunned. I haven't seen Jenna that angry since she was in middle school, and definitely never at Carl. Carl doesn't say anything, instead rubbing at his nose, leaning back in the seat. The insides of his ears are still flushed to deep red. What the fuck was that? I don't know. Something must have happened. That wasn't Jenna. I'll ask 𝐏𝐚𝐿 about it later. I didn't do anything, did I? I shrug, no words coming to mind. We sit in silence for a while, listening to the train horns. Looking down, I see the joint still smoking up from the planks of the floor. Slowly, I lean over and pick it up before holding it out to Carl. He takes it and looks at it for a second. Raising his paw, he pauses, then takes a drag before flicking it off the side of the balcony. He lets his head sag, his big horns dipping towards the floor as he closes his eyes. Slowly, I put my arm around his shoulders. He leans into me and doesn't pull away. So it's over with Leo, huh? Carlo waves his controller around like it's gonna help him avoid my free spike throw, almost knocking over his beer bottle. It hits him anyway, and he gives a little grunt of annoyance. I grin and consider letting up on him because he's clearly drunk. Seems that way. He hasn't really talked to me much since I got here. I leave out the part that's probably my fault. Carl lets out a weird little sound as I punch his character as if he were the one getting punched instead. Well, that sucks. Does it suck? He's looking intently at the screen. Still, I get the feeling he's not paying full attention because it's getting easier and easier to nail his character with my combos. I don't really know yet. It's been 3 years. Maybe it just hasn't kicked in yet. Takes that long to kick in for you? When Tanya done me, I felt like I couldn't get out of bed for a week. Oh god. I remember that, back in high school, when we were both 16. Didn't she get you into pot? Carl lets out a snort again as I flip kick his demon character in the chin. Yup, and thanks Satan for it. I don't know how else I would have gotten over her. Anyway, not to be a dick, but you're better for it. He surprises me with a spin kick that sends my Angel Wolf character flying across the screen. I focus back on the game and throw a barrage of punches into his demon's character's face, sending blood splashing onto the screen. Oh? Well, you know, it's just hard to talk to you and Leo when you guys are being all lovey and shit. His words are mushy, starting to bleed into one another. His character throws a flaming spear at my angel, which I easily deflect with my shimmering shield. I extend my wings and swoop in to throw my lightning bolts. Well, you know, no one really tried to talk to us when we were together. It was like we were making you guys uncomfortable. I watch his demon fly in the air, surrounded by a glowing white circle. Looking over, I see Carl frowning. No, I don't think so. His demon spreads its own much spikier wings and hovers up from the circle. He reaches up into the sky, and a red lightning bolt slams down into my character. You guys were just kind of self-absorbed. You didn't call me once after you guys started dating. And here I was thinking Carl never liked conflict. That sentence carried a lot of weight, and a lot of years behind it. I'm not about to argue with him though, especially after what happened with Jenna. That lightning bolt was it for my wolf angel, and his demon flies up to the screen and flips us off as winner is displayed. Well, there was college. Carl stretches, leaning back in the giant beanbag chair we're sitting on. I don't remember much of college anymore. He lays back in the chair and looks over at me. By the way, I have a job interview on Friday. My eyes widen. Don't act so surprised, asshole. He hangs on the last word with a lisp. You're drunk, but that's awesome. Where at? The print shop. Be a production assistant. Well, that sounds decent. Yeah, parents told me they'd buy me a car to get there. It's in Peyton, of course. But anyway, Flynn told me he'd give me a ride to the interview, but since you're here... He gives me a lazy sidelong glance. While I usually wouldn't have an issue with it, the thought of how hard I've been procrastinating my school project is starting to make my stomach churn. But hey, how often will I get to hang out with Carl when the break is over? I'd love to take you. You know, we were gonna go out and do stuff tomorrow. Why don't we change your look? Get you new clothes or something for your interview? He keeps smiling. Sounds great. So what it's like, kissing a dude? I let out a surprised laugh. What? You know, is it like more... He wiggles his paws uselessly in the air. I don't know? You kissed a girl, right? Samantha, right? I think so, but that was like 7th grade. So was it different? I laugh at him again. Pretty sure it's just like kissing a girl, man. You sure? I feel like kissing different species would be even more different. Maybe. I've always sort of wanted to know what it's like. He says it slowly, deliberately, trying not to trip over his words. Yeah? I say it even slower because I think I know what Carl is getting at. I can see how guys can be sexy. Carl, are you coming out to me? He rolls over onto his stomach, facing me fully now. That's a good question. Maybe we can answer it. I'm a little buzzed, but not drunk. Are you asking if you can kiss me? He gazes at me lazily through lidded eyes, looking about ready to fall asleep. Only if you want. I'd been asked to be the experiment of a few guys in the past, in college, and I'd always said no. But Carl... Well... We gotta try it, right? Carl is different. If you want. Carl's eyes widen slightly, then he slowly gets to his knees, hands and knees, and crawls towards me. I was gonna stand up, but it looks like he wants to do this on the beanbag. I lean back in the bag, sinking into it a bit more. Carol kneels at my feet, looking unsure. Is this right? Yeah. Do you want me to Before I know it, he's crawled up on top of me. His presence is heavy and warm, and I lean back, feeling myself get hard despite the awkwardness of it all. He looks down at me, into my eyes, and I feel myself blush. Sorry, is this okay? Yeah, it's fine. He leans down, pauses, then leans in all the way, and I feel his soft, white muzzle against mine. At the same time, I feel one of his paws slide behind my head. It's different than kissing Leo, or Samantha, way back in the middle school. Carl's muzzle is big and more blunt, his lips softer and more malleable. It covers the entire front of my muzzle. His beard tickles my neck and cheeks. I expect him to pull back quickly, but he doesn't, keeping his paw behind my head and pressing deeper into the kiss. Did I accidentally skip? Nope. His other paw holds on to my upper arm. I open my eyes and see that his are closed. He hunches over me, closer, and I feel myself start to respond, reaching up to wrap my arms around his broad back. He huffs in response, and then I feel his lips part, and his tongue flicks against my lips. I start to open them, but that's when I feel the beanbag shift and Carl slides to the side. Somehow, he manages to slip and fall on the wobbly beanbag, his mouth sliding sloppily of mine as he slumps down on top of me. Oh, look at that. I think that is the cutest CG in the game. Looks so cozy. I let out a grunt as his weight comes to rest on my chest. He chuckles and I can feel the spasms all the way through my own body. Oops. I laugh too, then wait a while, but he doesn't move. Carl, you can get off now. He doesn't say anything. I'm about to say something else when I hear a deep snore right next to my ear. Carl? His response is another guttural snore. I shift under him, for the first time realizing how actually fucking heavy he is. It's not exactly a bad feeling. His presence is enveloping and warm, and the beanbag under me is offering enough cushion so I'm not getting crushed. The snoring isn't bad either. It's almost comforting as his breath tickles the hairs inside my ear. His big belly squishes up against my torso like a warm sandbag. My eyes are heavy, and slowly I wrap my arms around his back. I haven't had someone to sleep with in years, and now I realize how much I miss the feeling. Slowly, the dim lights in Carl's room fade out as I fall asleep to his comforting, rhythmic snores. Well, let's end it on that one, shall we? Hello, TJ.